Well, today I'm pleased to welcome Nancy McCaffrey. She is the Director of Hospitality at a facility called the Garlands of Barrington. Hello, Nancy. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. So, the Garlands of Barrington, that must be Illinois?
Yes, it's a northwest suburb. We're located right outside of Chicago.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's talk about your facility because what we're going to concentrate on is how you make your facility safer with GBAC STAR accreditation. And that's our main topic today. But we don't really know much about the Garlands. Tell us about it.
Okay, well, as I said, the Garlands is located in the northwest suburb of Chicago. It's been around for about 20 years. We are kind of a resort type retirement community. It's a life plan community. We are located on 33 acres. It's a very park-like setting. We have multiple buildings. So we have 26 villas on site that are independent homes. We have 3 buildings that are independent apartment buildings. Then we also have a healthcare community that caters to those with memory enhancement, skilled nursing needs, or assisted living. In order to be able to offer the grounds that we do have, we have ponds and walking paths, et cetera. We have a lot of green space. So in order for us to have accomplished that, we were able to build 700 parking spaces underground. So this is a way for our members to actually enjoy the outdoor space as well as maintain their safety from the weather elements. Additionally, what makes this a little bit unique is that we offer space that is available to the public as well. So we have a performing arts center that's open to the public, and we have a couple of restaurants that are also open to the public. Then we have some semi-public areas, and then we have just private space meant for the members only. So it's a unique combination of residential living lifestyle and as well as trying to incorporate the external community around us to offer some more engaging ambiance for those that live here. So total, we have probably well over 300 members that live here.
Yeah, I like that. You call them members and you provide
Yes.
a home. You provide a home
Yeah.
for them.
Yes.
And it sounds like a pretty nice place to live.
Yes, people enjoy it very much. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a golf course, is there?
No, but we're right next to the tennis courts. We have a golf course down the street that when you move in, you become an automatic member for. So that is a little perk. And then we're right next door to the library as well, which is really handy.
Okay. Well, it does sound like a great location, facility for your members and all the perks that come with it. I know one thing that you concentrate on as Director of Hospitality is making it a safe place.
Yes.
And GBAC STAR accreditation, which you've obtained to, you folks are part of the family there, is something that's important to those who live there. What was the reason why you pursued it to begin with when you first started the process? What was there a trigger?
There sure was. So as the pandemic progressed, there was a great deal of negativity written about those who are long-term care providers and how they were managing or not managing this outbreak. And being a provider of housing and services for so long, we realized that the general public tends to generalize when they hear a story like this, and anybody who provides a similar service kind of gets lumped into that negative kind of story that's been developed. So we really felt like we were managing this outbreak well because our numbers, we didn't even have a case for the first several months well into the pandemic. We felt like we were being very proactive in some of the things that we had implemented. For example, we put a checkpoint out on our street before you can even enter into our property. It was a simple tent and we manned it. It had the people that worked there did screening questions, travel questions, and took temperatures so that if anybody came through that seemed to have a symptom, they would pull them aside. A manager would come out and try to determine if this was a red flag of some sort that we needed to address and ask them to potentially leave campus. So nobody was allowed in. In addition to that, I mentioned we also have this large underground parking garage, which offers many entrance points into our building. So before anybody could come into the building via a stairwell or an elevator, we rented over 20 portable hand washing stations. so that people had to wash their hands before they punched the time clock or hit an elevator button. So these are the things that we were taking pride in. So when we learned about the GBAC accreditation through our membership with ISSA, we thought this was a real opportunity to hopefully validate some of the things we were doing, as well as guide us a little bit more into what more could we be doing to tweak our policies and whatever other things that we needed to implement. So we take keeping the members very safe, very important to us. And it was an investment that we definitely wanted to pursue.
It sounds more like they're a family to you.
Oh, very much, very much. And some of them have lived here the full 20 years. So there definitely is a great community here.
Yeah. And so GBAC STAR was just another part of the process of taking care of them, doing your best for them.
Yes.
And it sounds like you did a lot before GBAC STAR accreditation, and you're continuing to do all these things. But was there something in the accreditation process that you implemented that made changes that you could talk about?
Probably about three things come to mind. The first was our director of housekeeping and her supervisor enrolled and successfully passed the GBAC fundamental course. So that was something that gave them a little bit of an elevation into understanding what needed to be done in terms of infectious disease and managing, and therefore they could go and train additional staff in their knowledge. So that was the first takeaway that we had from starting the process. Going forward in 2021, because of the experience that we've been through, we've now ramped up our training program. So a lot of what is in the modules that you go through, those 20 modules to get accredited, we are pulling out to do individual training sessions. And so that the entire campus is really getting on board with what we're doing. And finally, the last thing that we really took away from the program is this was something that it's very rare to have one goal where the entire organization can get behind and it impacts everyone. And so there's not one person or one department that the GBAC accreditation doesn't touch. So that was something interesting that we have now in place that is moving forward will only strengthen our relationships between each department. They're not working autonomously. Everybody's working together. So those were the three main things that we really found effective in terms of the outcome of getting the accreditation.
Well, thank you for sharing that. You mentioned moving forward. So we all want to move forward after this pandemic,
Yes.
don't we?
Yes.
How do you see GBAC STAR accreditation benefiting the Garlands after the pandemic, once they finally say it's over?
It definitely, I think the biggest thing will be the mind shift so that our team members understand that this is something that's not just a housekeeping designation. It's not just a hygiene issue. It's something that involves everyone throughout the campus. And I think be more open to finding issues or things that put us at risk and then communicating them to us and saying, well, I think this is an issue that we need to be addressing. I also think the greatest thing too is that it will build confidence in our clientele, our families of the members that live here, our staff, even our prospective clients and our vendors that come through. So I think that confidence really needs to be reestablished after everything we've been through.
Mm-hmm. If a future member or maybe family talks to you about your facility, does GBAC STAR accreditation come up in conversation?
We're just getting there. So we're trying to make everyone understand what it is. I just had a meeting yesterday, actually. We have a member advisory committee. We call it the MAC. And so I brought our certificate and explained to them what it means. And one of the members actually raised her hand and said her son in Texas actually called her the other day and congratulated her on getting the accreditation. Apparently he must have read it on our Facebook page or something. And so she was really proud of the fact that, she was part of that. So yes, we're starting to get that momentum rolling now.
Yeah, that's good to hear. My last question, Nancy, would be if you're having a conversation with a colleague of yours, maybe another facility similar to yours, although yours sounds like maybe there's no peer. If you're talking to that person and they say, should we do GBAC STAR accreditation? What would you tell them?
Especially if it's an organization such as ours, which is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you don't get a chance to reset. You always have your team here. You always have your customers here. So definitely there is more opportunity, I think, in our setting to find a risk, that it's just, there's risk everywhere when you're open 24/7. And so for that reason, we have overseers through legislation regulations that we have to follow. But with the GBAC, it's more of a partnership of compliance and making sure that we work on this together. So there's no downside to having somebody on board as a resource that can guide you and maybe even offer information that you didn't necessarily have before. So I would definitely recommend it. Yes.
All right. Well, it sounds like you folks are doing what you should be doing for your members, and they're safe because of it. So thank you so much for sharing your story today with our audience.
Thank you for having us. We're very proud. Thank you so much.